Y'all listen to me. Y'all already know what's going on. We here to review Maze 208. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize in advance for my unhingedness because the level of positivity that I'm feeling, the way Crystal was laughing when she was taking that pregnancy test, I'm laughing because I am pissed. Okay, do you understand? Let me get close to the Swagger. Why did y'all do that? The amount of positivity. I am not accepting episode 208 as a finale. I don't care what nobody, I'm not accepting that. You know what? I'm gonna pull an Emery on y'all and say incomplete. Y'all incomplete. No, absolutely not. We're not doing that. That's not how we going out. I don't want to say I better not, but I don't want to wait a year and a half, maybe 2 years to get the answer. I just Apple, y'all go. We gonna have to fix this. We gonna have to fix it. I done took these notes. I don't even know. I don't even know if I can read these notes because, excuse me? Okay. This episode, guys, was called Journey+Destination. And immediately, when I saw the title of the episode, it reminded me of episode 201. I think it was 201. Yes. When Emery had them in class and they was asking, is democracy a journey or a destination? It was a full circle moment, because Swagger loves full circle moments. And we get Jace, Amber, and Nick talking about, how even though they're from different walks of life, they still have one common goal, and that's attaining their dreams. Y'all, I wanted this episode to be real cute. We had got them photos of prom. I was going to go in the closet and put on a dress that act like I was going for the prom. I was going, do it up. But after all of that, the amount of positivities I felt, I was like, you know what? We gonna do this in this long sleeve black shirt because no. Okay, anyway. So we see the guys playing basketball, and so I'm assuming that they are playing in playoffs on the way to nationals. A lot of my predictions did come true. Some of them were a little off, but it was a variation, so I'm still gonna give it a confirm. The guys, are preparing for the championship game. We find out that the game is going to be in LA, which is neutral territory. They're playing the school that they lost to earlier in the season, Hilltop Central. And I think they lost to Hilltop Central real bad, because I think that was that wasn't the game where they Hilltop Central when they found out about the article. But I think it was the game after that. Or it was the game that Jason and them couldn't play because Jason got suspended. So, the game is going to be in LA, which, I was like, okay, well, if the game will be in LA, that means if Jace was still on the line, UCLA, there was a chance that the UCLA Scouts would show up. I also thought from that scene, when I saw them, because they posted that scene on Twitter, I thought that was a confirmation that they was all Musa, because I saw Musa and I saw Royale. I was like, oh, so they going to UCLA together. Okay, I was a little off. But I was like, okay, we going to play in LA. So then the scene goes to, Jace is sitting in the living room. Him and his mom are sitting with a person from a recruiting service. Now, this part of the game was new to me because I was not as familiar with the whole recruiting service process. But giving somebody $10K and they can't even guarantee you that you gonna get an offer. They just gonna market you. Basically, they playing PR firm. That's wild. with like, I don't even know what he said the monthly payment was, but after I heard 10K, I stopped listening because like this is somebody's dream. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back to me saying, I think in my season 1 reviews, how sharky the basketball business is, because people are out to get the coins. They are out to profit off of people's dreams, something that somebody works hard after. And like, I know I may be in Swagger fam and everything, but like before there was a Swagger, basketball was like it for me. And so for them to be telling this story, like all of these stories that I'm watching these guys going through and talking about, that stuff hit close to home, like real personal. We did have a situation where Catherine thought that the Caucasian doll was prettier than the dark doll, and that seemed alarming to Tanya, because Tanya and Ike made sure that they kept representation in front of Catherine, but with Catherine going to a predominantly white school, she thought that Catherine's views were being tainted by her environment. And so they tried to have a conversation with the teacher about, representation and how important it is for the children to see themselves. But that whole colorblind conversation came up, and I'm really not trying to go into that, because that is such a frustrating conversation to have, especially when people want to have the whole colorblind view on everything, when clearly that's not the world we live in. It's not even in America, it's outside of them, it's in everywhere in this world. So anyway, then we cut to the McDonald's All-American game. I was expected to see more of this game because my girl hadn't hooped all season. But I guess for time's sake, because we had to throw everything in this episode today, we got what we got. I was happy to see my girl, Nneka Abumage, because period. Like LA Sparks, her and her sister played. Like if you ain't here, what you doing? Like, she was the perfect person, because Crystal got her eyes set on going to the league, and what better way to have somebody from the league in the episode. So I thought that was lit. I was glad to see Alonzo there, because Alonzo heavily, supports the guys. But I was just happy to see him support Crystal, because y'all, when it come down to women's sports, and it's specifically women's basketball, women don't get the attention, they don't get the notoriety, they don't get the funding, they don't get a lot of the stuff. Like, a lot of the stuff is changing now with the girls in college, but for the women who are already in the league, like, they're making literally 1/8 of the amount of money that some of these women make in the league is tithes and offering for the men. Okay, like, and when I say tithes and offering, 1/10. What they make for a full WNBA season may be 1/10, and it may be 1% actually, because some of the people who sit on the bench in the NBA make more than the women who play in the WNBA. And the top players in the WNBA at that. So it's just crazy, but I was glad to see it. And then, like I said, I had tweeted a couple of days ago about how I saw Crystal's room and how she had all these shoes and these drawers of shoes. So I was just like, it would be fire, so fire, if Alonzo sponsored Crystal and allowed her to design her own Gladiator for her to hoop in while she in college. Like, and then Gladiator give her an NIL deal. Not to say that that's not going to happen, because that very well can happen in season 3. But I'm just saying, like, if they could get NIL deals in high school now, he should have let her design her own shoe for this McDonald's game, period. Gave her a prototype, period. So the next scene, which I felt like it was gonna happen. I was like, Swagger, don't piss me off. So the inexperienced have a pregnancy scare. Okay. So Crystal and Jace are in Crystal's room and they're having a conversation, and Crystal is telling Jace, like she wants to tell him something and she's real hesitant, but Crystal is, I ain't gonna say Crystal's in a better place, but Crystal is now, more open with Jace. Like she was open with Jace, but there were still some things that she would hold back from Jace. And Jace, one of Jace's, gripes with Crystal was that, he wanted her to be more forthcoming. And so Crystal told Jace that she got a scholarship to USC, which, hello, ode to loving basketball, because Monica definitely was a Trojan. But that's neither here nor there. She got a full offer from USC. So she was telling Jace that, in the event he chooses UCLA, they'll still be near each other or whatever. And so in that same conversation, Crystal tells Jace that her friend has not come yet. And she is nervous because she don't want to end up like Tanya Randall and lose her scholarship to a freshman. Okay. So they take their young selves to the pharmacy in order to get a test. And they end up not buying the test because they're recognizable. People are walking up to them asking for pictures for them in the store. So they call our good sis Jackie, which we've been missing her. Jackie been at school. So they call Jackie, and Jackie go and get her a couple of tests. And then Jackie do what big sisters do. Tell you ain't grown and you're acting up. You're being crazy. You're making rash decisions. You out here risking it all. Both of y'all supposed to be having a dream. And y'all out here playing the laying down game unprotected. And you're having scares. She looked at you. Are you ready to be a father? All right then. Tighten up. I know that's right, Jackie. I know that's right. It comes back negative. Thank God. We didn't want Crystal to be like Tanya Randall. Here we go to a scene. We cut to the next scene. Jace is working on his 3-pointers with Ike in the gym, and Jace is just frazzled, rightfully so, because it's a big time in his life, and right now he ain't got no offers. He is his shot. People talking about he can't shoot, but they want with Jay shooting in the gym. They don't know. But anyway, y'all, I'm trying to keep my composure so much. So Ike gives Jace advice, basically saying everything is going to work out. We're going to keep shooting. We're going to keep trying because it's going to work out on your behalf. You just got to believe that. They shoot a couple more shots. Naeem walks in the gym. Jace leaves. And then Ike and Naeem have a conversation. Okay, so last episode, Naeem quit because Ike pulled Musa out of the game. And I knew that Naeem was going to come back, but I also knew that Naeem and Ike had been friends for so long, there was no way they were not going to have that conversation. And so Ike basically tells Naeem that, they have a little catch-up session. And then he tells Naeem that after this season with Cedar Cove, he's going to leave Cedar Cove. And the reason why is because he feels like Cedar Cove uses the players as pawns and chess pieces, and he don't like that. And again, sharky business, because when the Cedar Cove 4 was coming to Cedar Cove, they all was gung-ho for them to come. They was going to win. They was going to put the school in good press. They was going to have the money was going to come in from the donors and everything. They was going to do good. They was going to go nationals. They going to get attention and everything. But then when things went left, they didn't stick by their team. They was ready to abandon ship. And Ike ain't for that, because Ike is like, whether or not the team does good or bad, it's not all about basketball. It's about the bigger picture. He basically was like, we are molding men. And I definitely 110% agree with that, because people do not realize the effects that a coach has on a child's life, period. It ain't even just a child, it's coaches, period. But since we talking about children, we're just gonna stay in that lane. Like, for somebody like Jace to have come from a broken home, his mother was out here grinding, you know, she did everything to put her son in the limelight. And then for somebody like Ike, who have, you know, grew up with their father, but didn't have the best relationship with their father. And then he had a dream, and his dream kind of went off course. And so now he's trying to reshape his life and help the kids down the path that he once wanted to go down. It's a very meaningful story. It also reminded me of my brother's coach. When my brother first went to school to play football in college, one of the main, not a chant, but one of the main things that he always hammered down on them was be a man. At the end of the day, you got to be a man. You got to go out. You got to handle what you got to handle. You got to handle your business on and off the field, in the classroom and on the field. You got to take responsibilities for the decisions and choices that you make. You got to learn how to be a man. And so that really stood out to me, because not only that, but me coming from basketball, like, your coach shapes it plays a part in shaping the way you view the world. Basically, your coach is like your parent while you playing that sport. And so I love the relationship that Jace and Ike ended up having, you know, from the time that Jenna first asked Ike to be his coach versus now. You can see the growth, and you can see how much they both mean to each other, and how much, you know, they were important in each other's journeys. But aside from that, you know, I just basically, they have a brotherhood moment. And that was another thing that was important, because when you're friends, there's nothing that you shouldn't be able to talk about, whether the conversation is easy or whether the conversation is hard. And strictly, like, Ike told Naeem, like, I love you, you my brother, you've been riding with me for 25 years. And Ike is 33. So if he been riding with him for 25 years, that's since they was kids. Okay? And so he basically was like, the only reason why Musa's minutes was getting cut was because CJ is a more explosive player than Musa is. He was like, but don't get me wrong, Musa is the heartbeat of this team. And that's one thing that, you know, Ike was able to convey to Naeem, because even though Naeem was Musa's father, he still had to have that coach hat on, and you still have to do what's best for the team. Like, I know that you're my best friend, and I know he's your son, but at the end of the day, like, this is what's best to help push the team forward. And he was like, I know that's not something you want to hear, but Musa is the glue. And Musa was the glue. And when it came down for Musa to be the glue, Musa led his team the way that Ike knew that Musa could. We heard Alonzo talking to a coach, but we never found out who the coach was. Because Alonzo was running through the park, and he was saying, yeah, coach, but, you know, the best thing you could do is look at Jace. So I'm like, was he talking to UCLA, or was he talking to Georgetown? Like, I wonder who he was talking to. I never found out. One thing Another prediction that I made that actually came true was Cedar Coast losing the Nationals. When I tell you, when Jay shot that shot and they was down 3 because Ike had just told them that we gonna tie the game. Okay, mind you, they was playing terribly. Everybody head was messed up. But Musa looked down at that coach, and that coach told him to breathe into his shoes. And Musa strapped up his shoes. They was back in the game. Musa led his team. He was the heartbeat. He told them what to do. He called the play, whatever. So they was playing good. They had caught up because at first they was getting drugged a little bit. But then I'm telling y'all, when they was like, we're going to tie the game, and Jay shot the ball, I'm thinking, give the ball to Drew. Drew is the shooter. Drew gonna shoot him down. He is 40% from the line. Give that boy the ball to shoot it. He gonna knock it down. But Jay shot the ball. And when Jay shot the ball, I saw his toe in front of the line. And when the buzzer went off, I was like, oh, they lost the game by 1. Then when Ike was like, run that back turbo, and they went and looked at the tape, and his toe was in front of that line, I was like, oh, man. And that feeling of losing like that just took me back. Like, because like when we was hooping, my team, we went to states and we went to the last round. We was in the state championship team. It's nothing like being with your teammates and going that far. That's a memory I will never forget. Going that far, and then, you know, the turnout don't be what you want. The devastation. Like, we was here. I understood. So then after that, it pans to the sports banquet. Now, this was, to me, the longest scene of the episode, where basically, you know, they honored the players, and everybody told where they were going and what was next in their future. Which I've been having this ongoing conversation with my husband over the last 3 weeks about who I think is going to be moving on to season 3 and who I don't think will be as active season 3. They start off with CJ. He tells CJ how courageous he is. And then he, you know, goes to Johnny, and then they start with the seniors. So each coach gave a meaningful speech for each one of the seniors, but I got emotional, like thought about crying. I ain't cry because I'm a thug. I'm just playing. I ain't cry, but you know, like I was okay. Phil's character, I feel like didn't get the shine like he did in season 1, but Phil's character has had so much growth since season 1, and the way his family has come back, and him just playing, and then at the end we got to see him with his little boo, the little girl he been liking, even though we didn't get to really see them talk. Phil is going to Howard to study criminal justice. Now, somebody, I don't know who it was out there in the Swaggerverse, but one of y'all ballers called Phil going to a HBCU. I saw it today. So, you was right. Next, we had Drew. You know, Drew talked about, you know, Drew's story was touching because with Drew being the only, well, he wasn't the only white boy on the City Cove team, but he grew up with all black boys. He said he learned a lot going to Seat Pleasance, and it made me happy to hear that, because sometimes, you know, when you come from a different world, you have this sense of entitlement. But there was never a time when Drew didn't ride for his brothers. That boy caught 2 buses across town from the suburbs to Seat Pleasant to play in the hood because he knew that it was going to develop him into the player that he wanted to be. Drew is going to Georgetown as a journalism major. And he's going to walk on the basketball team. He said his headband ain't retired. So we're going to still get our shooter next season. So far, Phil is in D.C. and Drew is in D.C. Nick Mendez comes up there and gives a meaningful speech about how much his parents sacrificed him coming stateside to play basketball and how his mom believed in his dream. My boy is going to be a Richmond Spider. And he is playing for the Puerto Rican national team. So I was happy to hear that. Musa gave a heartfelt speech about, his love for the game, his love for his brothers, how much he loved his dad. Naeem gave a good speech for Musa. Musa is taking his talents to NYU to do music. He didn't mention basketball at all. Royale talked about his background, his mother being an immigrant, or if she's not an immigrant, she's the child of an immigrant coming and, giving him the importance of where he comes from. Royal is going to Howard to study business and analytics for the basketball team, but he is not playing basketball. And then last but not least, the great Jace. He came up there and gave a pretty good speech about how much Ike means to him and about how he loved his team, he loved his brothers, and how much his mama sacrificed for him. And one thing I did love was that I love Jace and Jenna's relationship. I know a lot of people tugged at Jenna Card a lot and called her toxic and everything like that, but when you a single mom, I just had, empathy for her because she was a single mom, regardless of, the relationship she had with Jace's daddy and how it affected her, and her mothering, She worked hard to support Jace and Jackie. Jackie ended up going to Howard, going to a good school and getting a good education. And she wanted the same thing for Jace. And Isaiah was really in his acting bag because them tears was flowing. I was like, my boy crying on cue, you better do it, Isaiah. Jace went up there and said he is undeclared. We did not get a major, but he did mention that he got an offer from Georgetown. So I'm just going to stop right there. Senior year is just such a funny time in an athlete's life because you really be like wavering between, am I going to do this or is the ride over? And I hate that because when you dedicate something, and they don't really talk about this a lot, but when you dedicate your life to something like that, like basketball or like a sport, you give so much time to it that you don't really think about your life without it. So sometimes it's an adjustment period when your dream don't necessarily work out. And I'm speaking from experience because I dedicated my life to that game. And when it didn't necessarily work out for me, I had to have a backup plan. I had to figure something out. So I didn't go to college on no scholarship. I had to go to school and pick a major. I had the chance to walk on, But I didn't take it out of fear because I was like, well, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But, I give it to Drew because he still had love for the game. And even though he didn't get a scholarship, he still chose to pursue his dream. Because it's plenty of people, it's stories of people who walked on and turned it out, okay? They walked on, turned it out, got a scholarship, got put on with the money the following year, and was working it out and went to league. Like, it's been done. Royale, Musa, and Drew are not moving forward with their what Drew is, but Royale and Musa not moving forward with their. And then Musa going to NYU to do music. I'm like, so you mean to tell me in season 3 Musa not gonna be there? Is that what we saying? And then Nick Mendez going to Richmond and going to play in Puerto Rico with the national team. You mean to tell me Nick Mendez not gonna be there next season? Or it's given like they might pop in and out, but they ain't gonna be there. But it's given Phil, Drew, and Royale gonna still be there. And then at that current moment, we don't know where Jace is going because Jace is undeclared. We did see Emory ended up getting the head of the school. What is it called? Head of school. I guess it's called head of school. Where he introduced Black literature into the curriculum. I just wanted to shout out Matthew Cherry because I saw his Hair Love book in the stack. I know that's right. Get them coins. Sponsorship. Buy Hair Love, period. And watch the little short on, where is it at, on Disney? Matthew, where your Hair Love short at? I watched it. I just don't remember what platform it's on. So it was just interesting to see that while the boys was achieving their dreams, Emory still got to achieve one of his goals. Even though he was acting like a stick in the mud. I want to say something else, but I don't think you can say it on YouTube. So stick in the mud gonna have to do for now. He was acting like he didn't want to be supportive because he was in fear of his reputation, not being in line and whatnot. Ike does have a conversation. So we get to prom. Ike has a conversation with Emory, and they kind of like come to a, what's the word I want to use? I was trying so hard not to go off. They come to a common ground. That's the words I want to use. Emory and Ike come to a common ground. So after the performance that was displayed at Nationals, Emory is wanting Ike to stay, but of course he is because he took the team that far. But as we know, and it was stated to us, Ike turned in his resignation from Cedar Cove. And with Emory being the head of school, he was ready to negotiate and give Ike whatever he wanted to get Ike to stay. But Ike was like, no. And then come to find out, Ike was offered a coaching job, or he said they had some openings at Georgetown. So immediately I'm thinking, Ike finna Billy Baker this thing and go, and Jace, it's finna be a move. Like, okay, we all finna stay in DC then. Jay's gonna go to Georgetown with Drew. He gonna be down the street from Crystal because she gonna be at College Park. And then Phil gonna be at Howard. Royale gonna be at Howard. It's gonna be a vibe. So then we cut the prom. Everybody having a little boo moment on the dance floor. And we see Jace and Crystal leave. So Jace takes Crystal outside. They walking or whatever. And they sit down on the bench. I'm pissed y'all ain't give us no graduation, by the way. I'm just saying. And so basically, you know, Crystal is saying like, everybody's going to school, you know, everybody's gonna still be in the area, they're gonna be close, you know, with you possibly going to Georgetown, you know, we can still go to each other's games on the weekends and we can still see each other. Like, Crystal is planning on having Jace close. And so Jace basically tells Crystal that he has something to tell her. I'm like, okay. And so she was like, what is it? And he was like, UCLA came back around and they offered me a full ride today. So of course Crystal, because she understands Jace, you know, and she knows like what he's been waiting for, she knew that UCLA was his number one choice. And Jace wanted to go to UCLA, but then I kind of remember him saying on episode 201 that he loved the school, but it's too far from home. Like, his mama wouldn't be able to be at all his games. So she was like, it's your number one choice. And he was saying like, if I go to UCLA, I can be one and done and I can go straight to the league. I mean, I'm 1 year from the NBA. And of course, as you know, like, he had the NBA sign on his door that was like on the back of his maze. And so I'm like, oh God. I'm thinking he can still go to the NBA from Georgetown. And he can be like a local, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody come to Georgetown to support Jace from the area. You know what I'm saying? So it looked like Crystal was slightly disappointed because, you know, like, she had this plan of them being together with being close. But then I'm like, Jace still never said that he never said what he was going to do. So it's undecided. So we don't know whether or not Jace is going to pick Georgetown or UCLA. And that's where the episode ends. He tells Crystal that he wants to live in the moment. And she agrees. I don't know if I'm taking this as y'all final answer for season 2. Y'all, let's talk about it because no. Like, no. I'm just not accepting this. All in all, season 2 was good. I'll do a separate video on my thoughts of season 2 and things that, you know, I would have liked to see. And then my favorite moments. All of that will be in another video. We're going to do that next week. But right now, I'm going to have to watch 208 again. And I'm going to have to marinate. Because right now, swagger people, this is a no for me. Like, this is the chop. No is the answer. I am not accepting this submission. We're going to have to go back to the drawing. We're going to have to go back to the drawing board. You're going to have to resubmit this exam paper because no, I'm not taking this. I'm not taking this. I'm not saying nothing in the episode was bad because nothing in the episode was bad, but for this to be the finale, no. I'm not incomplete. I'm not taking this incomplete. You got a big INC with a red marker on the top of your paper. I'm not taking this. So yeah, y'all. I remain calm, but I did good because I was in the living room having a fit a few minutes ago. So yeah, y'all. After I watch the episode again, I might feel differently, next video. I might be more angry next video. I don't know. But we'll see how it goes. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Leave your comments down below. What are your predictions for season 3? Let's talk. Deuces.